Hello everyone. On today's Command Modern Operations video, we're going to be having a really special treat because joining me for the first time ever, one of the persons I'm the big fan of is Baloogan. You want to say hi?
Hey guys, I'm Baloogan. I've been making videos for Command for quite a while, and I'm back out of retirement here with Phil, and we're going to have a lot of fun blowing up some Iranians today.
That's awesome. So our scenario today is relatively straightforward. We've just been watching the news, and unfortunately, we've said that discussions and talks between the two countries, basically the Western forces and the Iranian forces, have broken down. And the Iranians, after some more assassinations, of course, which you probably just followed in the news, have decided to close down the Strait of Hormuz. Now, according to intelligence, they've basically thrown everything at this, short of the kitchen sink. But I'm sure if that had a missile on it, they'd use it as well. So we're going to have to try to force our way through the Strait of Hormuz using very limited assets. Speaking of assets, today we're sporting here the Simple Surface Action Group. We have the classic Ticonderoga with its Aegis missile system, which is incredible. We have the Bainbridge up here in the front. We also have an LHD-2, which is carrying no less than 12 fully readied F-35Bs, as well as some MH-53Es. But the most important high-value target of the entire operation is going to be this little commercial cruise liner, the Spirit of the Refugee, bringing back some holidaymakers from Kuwait. So, from a tactical perspective, what can you tell us, Baloogan, as far as things you do before we even unpause?
Well, it's get the lay of the land, look at the opposition. You also need to keep in mind your units as well, their strengths and weaknesses. The Aegis cruiser is such a powerful weapon system, but it really needs to have its radars on to be able to block incoming aircraft, incoming missiles. So it'd probably be a good idea for our formation to pretty much light up all their radars.
Okay, that definitely sounds like a good choice. Now, if this were like a North Atlantic scenario against modern Russian forces, you'd probably do that differently, I imagine.
Yeah, it all depends on the situation. In the North Atlantic, when you have a lot of area to move in, you can hide a whole carrier group. You can protect them beyond the horizon where no Soviet radars can find them. But here in the Persian Gulf, it's basically elbow room. It's basically standing room only here. And we don't really have enough room to hide. There's some terrain features, some islands that we could hide behind, but we're trying to we're trying to get past that strait, so we need to go straight through, so to speak.
Absolutely. So now, from a formation perspective, how would you set up your ships?
Well, we've got the two high value targets, the LHD and the civilian ship. And we've got the two fighters, the Tycho and the Burke. And the Burke is really the guy that I'd want for anti-submarine warfare and things like looking for surface contacts. And the Tycho is the unit that I'd want to be in the way between my high-value targets and incoming missiles and incoming aircraft. So I'd set it up so the Tycho's probably maybe 3 to 5 nautical miles to the north, and the Burke is 3 to 5 nautical miles to the northeast.
Okay, so normally these ships should all be facing the right direction, but we're just going to set them to a fixed bearing in order to save ourselves a little bit of trouble here. That's about
Yep,
5 nautical miles. We'll grab the Bainbridge as well. We'll set him up front like that. Now, one
yep,
thing I'll add really quickly is our Spirit of the Refugee. The reason I'm putting him so close to the LHD is because that means in a last-ditch effort, if we're being attacked by an anti-ship missile, at least the LHD can contribute its Sea Whiz to the protection of that ship. The
yeah,
hope here is that it's not going to come to that, but who knows? There could be
yeah.
quite a bit of munitions thrown at us at one time. It'd be fun to put him down here like that, but then I'm really nervous if there's something that they want to fly a plane around the back. It just seems like a safer way to do that. So I'm
Yeah.
also going to leave him in that position because it seems to make sense. The Spirit of the Refugee. Of course, the LHD should be our lead, I would assume. Spirit of the Refugees, set that fixed, and I think we're in pretty good shape. I'm just double checking one more time, and we're good. Now, why would you not set up like a mission to kind of surround the ship instead keeping them in the same formation?
Well, one thing is just keeping things simple. It's just usually in this scenario, we only have these 4 units, so it's not so critical with this scenario. But in a scenario where you're in command of 1,000 units, it's important to learn the tools to declutter the screen, to make things simpler, to make it easier on yourself to manage command scenarios. Because this is kind of a tutorial, we're explaining how to handle 4 ships. We want to give you the tools to uh, expand upon these skills that we're developing now to scenarios with 1,000 units. So in those sort of cases, if you have a group of ships or a group of aircraft that are moving in formation with each other, the group tool is the best tool for the job.
Absolutely. So we'll go ahead and unpause our scenario now to kind of get things going. So right away, our
Looks
radars
like we
picked
picked
up.
up two. Yeah, looks like
Oh,
we've already picked up some things.
why are the Russians here? Oh, that always happens. So, as Baloogan was telling me a little bit earlier before the video, he was commenting on the fact that there's a lot of ships in a very small area here, which makes things extra, extra, extra complicated. And obviously, any country is allowed to be here because of freedom of navigation. Now, notice, looking up here really quickly, it looks like we're picking up a square tie, which I believe is the C80. Yeah, it is the C801. What can you tell us about that?
So that's basically just a Chinese version of Chinese knockoff of the Harpoon missile, or or really a Chinese knockoff of the Russian Silkworm missile. I always think of them as just basically like the Harpoon ski, so to speak, a Russian version of the Harpoon. It's a surface-to-surface missile, not so
Contact.
dangerous in this. Oh, whoa, we've got some missiles
Oh,
coming from that
oh, check
island to the west.
bait and switch. Check it out. It looks like they were trying to spot us from this radar, and it looks like they were trying to attack us from the flank. So
Yeah,
this is going back to what you were saying with making sure you put the basically the anti-aircraft unit between you and the most likely target.
yeah, it just helps with the geometry of the attack. Uh, Yeah, we've got some missiles incoming, vampires incoming from the northeast and the northwest, and our ships are already responding. You can see the Tycho and the Burke are putting their beam on the missiles that unmasks as many illumination radars as possible, and also for the Tycho at least allows it to bring both of its cannons to bear in the worst case scenario.
Gotcha. No, this is pretty good. Obviously, the Aegis system is absolutely incredible. If I recall correctly, this is really horrible. But if you actually check a look at its efficiency, what is its missile defense value? Like 96? Look at that. That's
That's basically
absurd.
just emptying out the VLS.
I've tried that before. It actually works.
Yeah,
Usually run out
yeah.
of missiles, but I think there's a great book, and you probably have to help me on this, where it's basically talks about all modern naval warfare, and it all comes down to who runs out of missiles first.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
kind
was
of. I think that's Naval Tactics by the recently passed away. I want to say Captain Hughes, but I'm not sure of the exact name. But it's a really great book. It's basically a mathematical look at naval warfare.
that's awesome. Now, any idea why this guy took so long to get that second missile off? Probably had targeting issues.
Could be an OODA loop issue. It could just be takes a certain amount of time for the guys to press the buttons. But you can see as that missile got closer and closer, more and more missiles were allocated to it. Even the LHD shot off one of its, I guess,
The
evolved Sea
SSM, I
Sparrow.
think.
Yeah,
Oh no, they have the Ram Black too. They're rolling airframe missiles.
roll. Yeah, okay. Those things are kind of cool to see a video of those launching. They really spin very quickly.
Oh, we're getting some more trouble. It looks like. So apparently these guys are disappointed, or maybe we were just not in range at the time. Would be my bet. That was a pretty
Could be.
crafty play. Now, is there any chance that they could have mixed in some submarine launched missiles when they did that, and we just wouldn't have known?
Oh, could be. But it looked like to me that all the missiles came from land. So I'm guessing that there aren't any submarine launched missiles. Are there any? There might be Iranian submarine launched missiles, but I'm not sure offhand.
Okay, I mean that's something definitely we'd have to check out. We're of course going to find out the hard way, no doubt.
Yeah.
But it seems like our Tycho's doing a pretty good job. Now, the cool thing here is we've done a pretty good job identifying where they're actually launching from. Obviously, something came from here that we have no vision on. So, is
Yep.
it worth sending a helicopter up, or do you think they might have put SAM protection? I mean, from a normal game perspective, they've obviously gone through an awful lot of missiles. Is it worth just moving on, kind of a thing, or how do you feel about that usually?
I think since it's probably just like a truck with harpoons on it, after they've launched their harpoons, it's just a truck. So I think I'd try and just get as far away from that island as possible before they're able to figure out how to get some reloads loaded on their trucks.
Oh,
But
what's this? Oh,
oh,
that was
we've got an
quick.
aircraft.
Oh,
Aircraft
geez, hold
incoming.
on. Now, how is it that I'm able to identify an F5 at that distance? That's insane. That's 50 nautical miles away.
Yeah, so it's radars nowadays can use a technology called non-cooperative target recognition (NCTR), where they basically get to use a radar to listen to the blades in the engine, the actual turbine blades in a jet engine, and recognize that signature. It's very obvious when you are listening to a high bypass civilian aircraft engine versus a high performance jet engine. It's just it sounds completely different. Looks like we're firing the ships are
Tomahawks.
automatically firing tomahawks
Oh
on
no,
the.
not
Oh,
again!
they're retaliating.
I thought apparently they got the camel launched missiles also ready to fire here.
Well, they didn't like those tomahawks.
Uh,
decided to
Apparently, we didn't
escalate.
get them all, as they say.
Yeah,
So maybe we should have steered a little bit closer to Oman or something like that. Oh, this is going to get close.
yeah. I think we're running out of long
The
range SAM here.
SSMs. Oh,
Oh,
geez. Hey, we did it. Now, who's this? Now, how much you want to make a bet that Nuslermania right here is feeding some information to our buddies?
well, I guess the Iranians probably know who to pay off in the Russian Federation to get some intel.
Ah, it's such a bummer. I mean, you're. Oh, here comes some more. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the vector on the. Wait, I'm going to pause real quick.
Yeah.
The vector on those did not come from that islands. Because if you
Sometimes you
actually.
get with tomahawks and modern missiles, they can launch in one direction and then take a dog leg to mask their the original launching location.
Now,
This is
is that
especially
something
useful.
that the player can control? Because I mean, I
Yeah,
love the idea of like telling a tomahawk to like go around a corner or something like that.
yeah. There's a way to do that in the manual launch interface. There's a button to set course waypoints for tomahawk attacks and things like that. We're still
Oh,
getting a couple of vampires here and there.
I love how they. I mean, it'd be better if they launched them all at once, but this is irritating. Of course, what are we supposed to do to shoo this guy away? I mean, I've read in the news recently this exact kind of thing happens from time to time, but obviously we can't do anything about that. So, as we're rolling, hopefully that's most of the trouble for now. Fingers crossed. Oh,
Hopefully. Oh,
can't.
spoke too soon. Spoke too
Now,
soon.
if we did not have our radars on, this would have been much scarier. Now, and
Yeah.
apparently, this Russian ship is insisting in following us from about 6 feet away. So hopefully, the LHD doesn't do a brake test on him, because
Yeah.
otherwise, his insurance better be pretty solid. I'm actually going to do one of these things and just cross my fingers. Oh, look at that! Eat
Yep.
tomahawk. Oh, that was an expensive strike.
Yep.
What's
That was a few
this?
$1 million to blow up some trucks.
Uh, uh
I think we have to take them out. I think the
I don't think that's the same distance. So when you
I think
design
what happened.
scenarios,
Yeah.
folks, make sure
Yep.
that your side AI and everything is set that makes some kind of sense. You know what? This guy obviously needs to go through Gulag. So we'll go grab him real quick. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Excuse me, sir. Sir. I'm gonna grab my nice little menu. Have fun over there. Whoop. I hate it when that happens. I
Yep.
told you it was just a hologram. It's new technology. Anyway, so it looks like we've beaten away most of this stuff, and it's probably a good idea to start thinking about some assets. Now, one thing I've noticed as we've been playing a little bit is every once in a while I watch this kind of thing going on, and I'm kind of scared that they're like set on some kind of patrol loop, and all of a sudden they're going to turn and start launching everything at us. We do have some F-35s at our disposal, F-35Bs, but we only got 4 of them that have anything. I hate the B model because you can only carry 4. That's how are you supposed to do that? So, what do you think we should do as far as set up some kind of maybe combat air patrol, or maybe try to extend our vision a little bit? Because I think the F-35's got surface search radar, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. They've got a very nice uh, sensor package on the F-35. What I'd recommend is, since we've got such a limited air-to-air capability with that combat air patrol, is probably only send up one F-35 at a time, and
Oh,
in a
that's a different.
very tight box around our our high value assets, basically just acting as airborne early warning and being able to use that really fancy sensor system to act as a uh, kind of a really like a fancy short range Hawkeye.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it can also do the surface search radar. I believe is extremely good too. Ah,
Yeah,
never had that error before. Donk. There we go. So you're basically saying one at a time, and
one at
obviously
a
we want to
time.
keep them within weapon range.
Yeah.
We're
Also, flight size instead of section should be single
single
aircraft.
aircraft.
Yeah.
You got it. So this is almost redundant, is really what it. Oh no, no, that's good. We want that.
Yeah. Yeah.
How about WRA? Do we need to reduce the range in the AIM 120s? Because right now they're going to be taking pot shots at way into Iran. I figured from maybe a doctrine perspective, it would be a little bit shorter.
Yeah. We could dial that in. We're probably going to keep relying on the SAMs from the surface ships, but yeah, we'd want the F-35. One thing that the altitude of the F-35 will give us is if there's any sea skimmers coming our way, the
We would see
F-35
it.
might be able to see those before the ships can, and AMRAAM might not be the best.
Whoa, look at
There we
this.
go.
Look,
Immediately, we've got some sensor contacts. AEW.
wow. How did he identify these guys? Oh, he must have. Oh, geez, F-14s. Uh-oh. Oh no. I,
Tomcats.
now I believe the Iranian F-14 has like a funky version of the Hawk, if I recall correctly. Yeah, they actually mount a Hawk missile as their replacement of the Phoenix, which is incredibly interesting. But
Yeah.
immediately I can't believe how much stuff he's picked up already. I didn't even see that. I'm guessing that's civilian based on the radar type, but you never know.
Yep.
We've got a couple of TPS 70s. It looks like we're picking up another TPS. We've got some unknown skunks up ahead, but they do not have radars emitting. So, from a doctrine
That's
perspective,
almost suspicious. If there's a craft in the Persian Gulf that's not emitting any sort of radar, that's even civilian ships have multiple radars on all the time. So
so
that might even
ironically,
be
by
a little
being
bit
not
suspicious.
suspicious, you're being more suspicious.
Yeah, we've got a high-speed skunk to the north of our formation, about 25 nautical miles. That
Copy.
guy.
He's also not emitting. What's he got for speed? 30 knots. Do you know any civilian vessels that do 30?
Billionaires and their hydrofoils and
All
those
right.
guys.
Uh, how many Iranian billionaires do you know? We've also got,
Um,
yeah,
I guess
a
the
few.
guy who, what is his name? Steve Jobs, I think, is
Oh,
an
yeah.
Iranian immigrant a long time ago.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Interesting. So, okay. So from a gameplay perspective, that F-35 is like magic.
Yeah,
Look at this. We know who's up here. We've identified another radar. We've got these guys. Apparently, it's the mating ritual of Iranian fishing vessels or something going on over here.
yeah, they
But
might just be in dock.
yeah,
Sitting
exactly.
around.
They're just tooling
Yeah,
around and doing little operations. This is making me real nervous because
yeah.
if I mean, just from a doctrine perspective, how would the Iranians basically close off the Strait of Hormuz?
So it's such a narrow body of water that the first thing that comes to mind is minefields. You've also got like little guys in speedboats with rocket launchers. There's a lot of ways to close off a body of water, but it's probably I'd expect mines, and I think we kind of have to assume that there's mines. We can't wait for evidence of a mine to hit one of our ships. We have to start being proactive and looking for things like send out minesweepers. Looks like we just launched a strike.
Yep, I figured those guys are. Oh, you did not just do that. Oh, scared the crap out of me. I believe those are. Oh, they're A120s. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's not going to work. But what I did do is I sent a couple F-35s to basically go take a peek at
Yep.
whoever these chaps are, and I'm going to go ahead and actually set them down. I think it's 10,000 feet is the minimum altitude for any strike like that. But honestly, I don't know who else. Oh, wait, we've identified them. Check it out. Yep,
I guess we get closer, and our cameras on the F-35s can start making out.
that's incredible technology. I mean, that's like
Yeah.
cheating. Imagine if you could do that in World War II. So these two guys are being weird. I mean, their speed definitely is civilian, but they're not emitting, and these guys are
Yep.
also not emitting. That's not gonna hit anything. I wonder what this guy's doing. I guess he's in dock too. He's unloading his fish.
Yep.
Let's take a look. So, how would you check these guys out? Would you do like a patrol mission around them to take a look? Would you just kind of take a shot at it like I did?
Um. Well, we need to get eyes on them. So maybe take our patrolling the single F-35 up there and just tell him to get a little bit closer. He'll probably not have to get that
Oh,
close.
wait a
It looks
minute.
like you just took out the that target there.
I'm just gonna borrow these guys. Why not, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's send them
They've
down.
still got the same sensor package. They might even have bombs left over.
I'm actually gonna unassign you guys, and let's go check it out. Because that'd
Yeah,
be very. That's recycling, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Well, we got it. Wow. Oh, seriously? Oh, that's interesting. Those are both frigates.
That
What do you
looks a little
think?
smaller. Yeah, patrol
That guy
boat.
clearly is. I don't know what he's doing. This one I'm
Yeah,
really suspicious about because he's pretty darn far away from Bandar Abbas there.
yeah.
What do you think?
I'd assume that he's some sort of mine layer, or perhaps he's there to intercept civilian vessels. And in any case, I think
Fair game.
he's a bad guy. Yeah.
They've got no SAMs. Oh, sweet. This is not going to be a happy day for that poor chap. So what do we
Yep.
got left? I've got one GBU-12 left, and I don't think that I want to strafe, if you get my feels.
I don't even think the F-35 Bravo has a gun.
It doesn't? Oh, so
No.
it's everything. Oh, remember the F4 back in the Vietnam? That worked, right?
Yep. Well, there's a pod, I think. There's a pod that the F-35 Bravo can take, but I'm not sure if it's IOC yet.
Gotcha. All right, you guys go home and get some more stuff. Although
Yeah.
I'm really appreciating the heck out of the fact that these guys can kind of keep an eye on things. I'm going to go launch a different group.
Well, we've got another launch.
I think those are, yeah, we're just picking on those guys up there.
Yeah, just
All
keeping
right,
them away with those AMRAAMs.
absolutely. So I'm
Yep.
loving that F-35. That thing is like a, what are you doing? Oh, he doesn't have line of sight because of the cloud layer, does he?
He
So he's
might
got to
not.
stay at 2,000 feet. There we go. I
Yeah.
feel bad
So the
wasting
cloud
some.
layer is preventing the laser guided capability of those
Nice.
GBUs. They're I think are these multi mode like the ones that can be
They're
plugged
not
in by
LJ
GPS?
dams. They're the
Okay,
tens.
no, those are the
Yeah.
tens. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, that was excellent. So I'm going to set those guys home right away.
Yep.
Okay, let's pretend for a second those were mine layers. So what should we do next?
We need to get some minesweepers. Even if we didn't see mine layers there, I think we should get some minesweepers out pronto. Also, I think we've got some helicopters on the LHD
I
that can
believe we
perform in
do
that
have a
role.
couple MH-53s. Yes, we
Yeah,
do. Okay, this isn't bad. These are spectacular
yeah.
anti-mining platforms. Now, should we play the game and assume they were probably operating in the area they are operating? Should we add like a very wide zone, or should we do this the right way and make a very narrow channel for us to travel through?
We need to do the narrow channel thing.
That's exactly what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
So I'm
We should also turn on the sonars on all of our ships
got
to start looking for because they can sometimes pick up mines with the high frequency sonars.
gotcha. Now, what if the Iranians are operating any type of submarine?
Then we definitely need those radars pronto.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up actually, make sure you always deselect your previous points.
Yep.
Not that everybody hasn't done that 1,000 times before. Anti-mine, mine. All right, so this is mine clearing. Okay. I would imagine we want to get everybody airborne at the same exact time there. Because if we sit around waiting for that, that's not going to work terribly well for us. Anti-mine, mine. We have it crossing Polygon again. That's a pretty wide area, but at the same time as, for all we know, there's another submarine or something down there that's doing the exact same thing. I'm going to
Yeah.
disable 1/3 rule. I think you'd agree with that. Single aircraft and just let them go at it, right?
Yeah.
So now, does station throttle matter with helicopters with anti-mine operations?
I think when they're towing their like I think when it comes to anti-mine warfare helicopters, it's this apparatus that they tow in the water, basically like a UUV sort of thing. So I think it
Gotcha.
doesn't really matter the speed. I think they'll automatically go to this basically almost a hover when they're doing this, but always a good idea to be loitering in the patrol zone.
Gotcha. So I'm going to use that as a tight channel. I mean, trying to clear the whole Strait of Hormuz, it's just going to take a lifetime. We just don't have the time. And there's no guarantee that you're going to get every mine every time anyway.
Yeah,
So that could be a definite problem. Now, would you want to put combat air patrol above that to keep any of those F-14s from saying hello?
I think so. I think I'd want to have some sort of cap. Might even want to reallocate some of those bombers that are coming in, the F-35 Bravo that dropped some bombs. Might want to even set them to an air-to-air warfare profile, since it doesn't seem like there's that much Iranian naval activity right now.
Gotcha. So what I will do real quickly is I'll do standard cap, enable quick. They'll be ready in about 6 hours. Not great.
Yeah,
I'll just take one of those other ones and maybe just assign it basically for this exact zone. So what do I call it? Mine cap, something
yeah,
like that.
mine cap. Yeah.
Control AAW. I just don't want to find out the hard way that where'd my thing go? Hello.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, it was right the first time. No, mine cap is the one we want. So we'll do this. What I'll do is I'll go to my AAW. I'll knock one of them out. And then I'll grab his buddy also. Mine cap. We want to make sure we set this all up correctly. Single aircraft, I believe, is the way you like to do it.
Well, with the F-35, and there's just such a limited number of F-35s, I usually like to use a two-ship, but we're so limited here that single aircraft is the way to go.
Yeah, in about 6 hours, we'll be able to take care of that. Actually, I'm not going to change that. And, loiter. Obviously, we want active radar because the radar on that thing is like, it's like God mode,
Yep.
basically. And
Yep.
he's going to go ahead and protect our helicopters as they operate.
Yep.
Now, one thing, oh, go ahead.
Oh no, just agree.
Yep. One thing I'm also concerned with is if they're going to send mines, they're probably going to be using submarines as well.
Yeah.
So we have basically two major anti-submarine assets. I mean, obviously you could use the cruiser, but really the destroyer is a much better vessel for this purpose. And
Yeah.
we also, of course, have some SH-60s. So how would you deploy those in this particular situation? Kind of do the same kind of a tunnel? I mean, I believe the Iranian Navy has relatively limited capability as far as submarines goes. I think they only have diesels, if I remember right, and none of them
Yeah.
have anti-ship missiles. So they're going to be limited in range. Otherwise, they're going to be making too much noise, and we'll be able to kind of pick up on them. Because right
I
now we're
think
doing 20, but yeah, go ahead.
I think what we need to do is just sanitize the water around our formation. Torpedoes are not very threatening to modern warships that can sprint away, especially like older torpedoes that the Iranians would be using. A Burke might even be able to go 70, 80, 90% of the speed of the torpedo. So
That's insane.
if we do get a torpedo heading towards us, we'll just run away. But that means we need to make sure that a submarine doesn't get in real close in our formation. Oh, looks like we've got some AMRAAMs firing.
Uh, yeah, that is
Basically,
way
these are
too. Okay.
snipers.
Yeah,
Sniper AMRAAMs.
I'm gonna have to tell these guys not to do that because what they're gonna do is, you know how this game is played. They're gonna run out of ammunition,
Yep.
and unfortunately, that means the Iranians can just walk up and knock, which is not gonna
Yep.
work out so well for us. Anyway, keep talking.
Yeah, so I think we should have a ASW patrol to the maybe starting 5, 10 nautical miles away from our formation and extending out maybe 30 nautical miles for perhaps if there's anti-submarine helicopters on the Tycho or the Burke or the LHD. Just have one big happy family sanitizing the waters, just making sure that there's no Iranian subs that are just sneaking in between our ships. That's when they get dangerous.
So it's basically almost kind of do something like this, would you say?
Yeah, maybe a little bit more focus to the northeast.
So like this, I'll just grab this point up here,
Yeah,
just kind of
yeah,
do one of
something like that.
those. Okay,
Yeah,
so we'll probably get our submarines, our anti-submarine warfare aircraft getting inside that area. I think that's pretty safe because these
yeah,
guys will also move. We'll tell them to move with us, I would imagine as well.
yeah.
All right. Actually, we don't need sea control, but that doesn't bother me too much. We have four SH-60s. Tough question. Do we launch all of them simultaneously? Whoops.
Well, we definitely want to keep some of them on the ship so they can recycle. I'd use the 1/3 rule. So
Okay.
how many helicopters do we have total? Four?
Four.
I'd go with just having one on station instead of the 1/3 rule, which will put up two and then one and then one, then two, then one and one. It'd be
Copy.
nice to have one extra helicopter just sitting on the deck ready to go.
Gotcha. Just in case I mean, if there's an attack, a target of opportunity, we're definitely going to want to be able to call that guy up immediately.
Yeah.
Obviously, active sonar on him. We want to make sure within weapon range. Outside the patrol area could be interesting. And 1/3 rule, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And he'll take
Sounds
care of
good.
the altitude and all that stuff for himself. We want to make sure these are set as fixed bearing, most likely to our ships. Actually, we could
Yep.
probably do rotating bearing. There we go.
Yeah. For a symmetric zone like this, it doesn't really matter, but yeah, I think how you have it set up is perfect.
Okay, awesome. So fingers crossed on that one, because it just takes a single torpedo. Uh-oh, did he just launch two helicopters? So much for keeping one on station.
Ah, well.
It
We'll just
happens.
be a little bit more protected from subs, I guess.
Now, I'm not seeing a lot of pops and bangs behind those helicopters, so it's making me feel slightly more comfortable. Like that tells me either it's not there or we're not there on time or something along those lines. Now, these ships are doing 20 knots right now. What's the probability they're going to pick up an incoming torpedo at all?
Not very good. Not very good at all. At least the
Uh,
helicopters are dropping sonobuoys, so they'll be able to listen for torpedoes using those capabilities. But
okay,
we might want to set one of them to sprint and drift, or we might even want to detach one of the Burks to. Oh, we got a goblin.
copy. Let's go get one of our attack. Actually, what am I saying? We'll just grab him.
Yeah.
Good spot. Good spot. All right, we're gonna have him race over there as fast as he can. I don't think he's an anti-submarine. I should say no anti-submarine missiles. So what is his distance? It's 21. Save your fuel. Save your fuel. Now, do you know that the SH-60 does it have dipping sonar?
I'm pretty sure it does. We can always check using the database editor, or just bringing up the sensors dialog.
I got something. What was that? No, missile.
Got a missile. Whoops, Sam.
Sam. What the heck
Helicopters.
shoots from that distance?
Maybe an SA-5 Gammon.
It's gotta be. Because I know that they have a few of those. Not that it's. Oh yeah, yeah. I didn't think so. Now, interesting. It looks like our blue blaster here, our MH-53, actually picked this guy up. I'm gonna actually increase the size of this, and I can see that. I'm gonna send him to go check it out. So we're
I
actually gonna
guess
send him down.
anti-mine warfare is kind of like anti-submarine warfare, really. You're using the same sort of sensor package, and also submarines are actually visible when
They're shallow enough.
shallow enough. Yeah, just
Because
from looking at them.
it is daytime. So it's an SSK, and I'm pretty sure the Russians aren't going to send an SSK out this far. I mean, right? I mean, I should never make that assumption ever in warfare. We should always positively identify anything we're looking for. Let's go sneak
I
up on this
think
guy here.
it's very hard to positively identify a submarine. Like a Russian submarine might be a kilo, an Iranian submarine might be a kilo too.
All right, I'm going to tell him to slow down and dip his sonar. Maybe he can take a listen. Actually, what we could
Yeah,
do is we could probably pop in a sonar buoy real quick, too.
yeah,
ISW. I hate it when it does that in this version. What do you think? Passive, because we need to hear him, obviously. Book.
and
So
shallow. Yeah.
just got to pop that in the water. We'll go take a quick. He's moving pretty quick, whoever he is. Nah, 5 knots. That's not that bad. Let's go grab him, set his speed up. Actually, I should never zoom in. That tunnel vision is extremely dangerous.
Yeah, yeah, especially with not having the log up either. Sometimes you can
Exactly.
see just the log blur with, horrible
Missile
stuff, and
launched
then
at this time. Yeah, I
yeah,
mean the
exactly.
thing. This new log is great for organization. It's like I kind of miss just the text, and there is a way you can actually export this so that it's a separate window that works
Yep.
really, really well also, and I think that's a great feature. And
Especially if you have more than one monitor.
yes, which unfortunately I do not. So unfortunately, we'll have to kind of put up with this. Okay, what are you doing? Stop. I wonder if the submarine is getting a little nervous. Although I understand some modern submarines actually have the capability to shoot missiles out of their actual torpedo tubes to attack helicopters, like what I'm doing
Yep.
right here.
Russian submarines also have a SAM mast where they can lift up basically a mast with Estrella man pads on it. Also, American subs are getting the capability to fire lasers from a mast,
That's
like actual
crazy.
shoot things down
We got
lasers.
him. Positive identification. Sorry to interrupt.
Well, yeah, yeah, of course.
And I'm gonna let him prosecute on his own. It is in a
Yeah.
hang. What is this actually? Nicely done. Actually, this has got some pretty nice technology on it. What does it have as far as weapons goes? What I'm usually paranoid about. Okay, so the Wakehommers, nothing too dangerous, but that would have hit us if we weren't careful enough. Man, we are so lucky those MH-53s picked him up like that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're running into the
Well,
well
and
done
we got him. Yeah.
Christmas bonus.
Yeah.
Christmas bonus. Nicely done, man. Nicely done. Send it back to ASW Hill, and he's gonna go take care of it. Wow,
Yep.
that was close. So now I'm like getting extra paranoid now, and I'm slowly making this a little wider every time we go by.
Yeah. Those minesweeping helicopters are actually doing pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not bad. That was not bad. Actually, that worked really well. That is a great tip that you could utilize those for that purpose as well. So let me go ahead and keep sneaking. So, whoa, yeah, that's the S85 again.
I think
Um,
what it's doing is it's trying to hit down the F-35 Bravo,
I think
and
you're right. Why don't we drop its altitude?
that's
I
a good
mean,
idea.
obviously, it's not going to be on station as long, but at the same token, as I'm getting sick of that because eventually one might get through,
Yeah.
and that's just embarrassing. Also, that means we can get under the cloud layer with him as well. I know the
Yeah.
F-35 isn't exactly great for gas mileage,
No.
but we're
Especially
gonna have
not
to
the
do the best.
Bravo.
Yeah,
The
yeah. I mean,
Bravo's
when
a
you have a
gas
giant lift
guzzler.
fan in the middle of you. You ever see
Yeah.
what they tried to do with the MiG-23, like the really, really early version of it, where they had an extra? Uh-oh, that's a problem.
Oh.
So I'm kind of a fan of making everybody kind of pancake to get through my channel here. Would you rather make the channel wider, or how would you approach this?
So I think with minesweeping, you can't sweep such a large area. It just won't work at the end
Okay.
of the day.
So
So I
at the
think
end,
we might have to reform, like break the group and get everyone basically going in a line. There's some really neat photographs from the tanker war back in the 1980s when Iran and Iraq were fighting each other, where American ships basically were going in single file through this same body of water.
that's amazing when you really, really think about it. I like your
Yeah.
term sanitized, by the way. That's usually not how I think of that. Whoa!
Oh,
Remember
Goblin.
when I was saying I was paranoid?
Yeah.
All right. I think our strategy from before was great. I mean, this is Argonaut 2 now, so we'll go send him over here. Unfortunately, I'm actually going to do this real quickly. Thank God. Look at how close they are. That's like 4 or 5 miles. Now, what we could do is slow down the convoy real quickly, but it looks like he's facing the wrong direction.
He might
What
be
do you
trying
think?
to go for an intercept. How fast is he going?
It looks like he's doing about 5 or 6 knots, if I had to guess.
Okay, so he's not actually sprinting. He might not even detect us because we're
Because we
kind of
won't get
almost
his
in his baffles.
baffles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but still, let's blow him up.
Let's go say
Oh,
hello. Well, let's go. Let's go knock first. Because remember, I believe the Soviets were spotted here. A little, I should say, Soviets. A little late for that, right? The
yep.
Russians would definitely be in this area as well, so that makes me a little nervous. I don't want to accidentally get like an Akula or something like that. Or was it the Bore is the new one?
Yeah, yeah. I can't pronounce Russian things at all, so your pronunciation, especially of that earlier Russian ship, was a lot better than mine ever would be.
It's easier when you see it in Cyrillic, and then you're like,
Yeah.
oh, so that's what you meant when you were saying such and such. But obviously, you don't always get that benefit. All right, go ahead and deploy your dipping sonar, sir. You've been extremely helpful so far. Oh, watch out for the tunnel vision. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Seriously?
Well, it's not like they're singing in Iranian, I guess.
Yeah. It just makes me think of what is it, The Enemy Below, that kind of end of World War II kind of movie there.
Yeah.
I don't
Also, the Hunt
know.
for the Red October when they were singing the Russian anthem, that beautifully haunting version of it.
Well, ah, This would all go back to your doctrine settings. You know, is this guy? Nope, that's an attack. That's an attack. I don't care how you look at it. Go get him. Go get him. Go get him. Torpedo in the water. Rip. Splish. Fingers
I think
crossed
that
I
even
didn't just
came from
start World War
the
Three.
Burke, I think.
Yeah,
The
that
Burke, I
was
think. That.
the ass rocks. I think they are.
I don't think it's an ass rock. I think the ass rock, it might be a rum or whatever it's
Oh,
called.
that's right. I always forget about that because those are the new ones.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're doing okay so far. But
Yeah.
all it takes is a single mine and this game is over. But it looks like
Well,
we're
I think we
almost
could probably survive a single mine, but it would, as long as it's not on the civilian ship, a warship can handle a mine, especially a light mine.
exactly.
But it's not pretty. It'd be, someone would lose their job over it.
Gotcha. Now, the interesting thing with the SA-5, which some of you may or may not know, is it's a continuous wave radar. So in order for it to track, it basically lights the sky up with a giant flashlight, and the missiles go towards whatever's reflecting. It's a very, very neat system. And because it's continuous wave, they have to actually use frequency modulation to get range out of it, which I think is just like, it's amazing that it was like an early example of digital computing technology in order to improve stuff like that. All right, we're entering into the paranoia phase.
You also
Okay.
have your AAW patrol to the southwest,
I just
still
moved him.
kind of.
Oh, he's just tooling around.
Yeah.
Hey. Again, I should have set it to to relative bearing. My bad.
Yeah.
Again,
It's
that's
all
why
right.
it's great when you have two sets of eyes. Sir, should we bring him home? Yeah. Okay. Happens all the time, though. And obviously, when you get those mega scenarios, like we're going to give you the entire U.S. fleet, go. That kind of thing happens more
Yeah.
than it should.
Like those Northern Fury scenarios.
Oh my God.
Oh my Lord. Yeah.
Have you seen the what is it? The shifting sands ones towards the end, where it's
Yep.
just like, are you kidding me? As far as how many units you end up with, but it's
Yeah.
like again, this is fun stuff, so I'm not
Yeah.
complaining too much.
Have you read the Northern Fury book yet?
I have not read the Northern Fury book. I was kind of curious about that because
Yeah.
I'm just finishing Max Hastings' Korea, which wow, I read his Vietnam, and that'll make you cry. But what's it about basically? If you want to give us a summary.
It's the story of. Have you ever read Red Storm Rising by Tom Clancy?
Yes, I actually listened to
It's
it on tape. It's pretty good.
kind of exactly like that, but for the Northern Fury scenarios. Red Storm Rising was written by Tom Clancy and Larry. Someone. I can't believe I forgot the other author's name.
Larry
He's really
Bond,
important.
maybe
Yes, yeah,
the war
Larry
game
Bond.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah, the war game guy. I can't believe I forgot his name. But they actually war gamed a lot of the scenarios in Red Storm Rising.
I know the scenario.
Using
It's like called
hyperbole. Yeah,
Vampires Inbound or something like that.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
And
And Northern Fury, the book uses that same sort of concept, is using command to simulate some of the events in the game.
because I actually use those old Harpoon war game scenarios as bases for a lot of the missions that I played. But then you find out the hard way, like a Tupolev 22
Oh,
can't
probably
possibly
need
get in
to.
the way.
Sorry to interrupt, but you need to move the minesweeping corridor forward.
Absolutely. Good catch. Getting carried away. Sorry. Book
Yeah,
talk, everybody. Book
it's
talk.
quite all right.
All right. And I think we're almost clear, and that's probably going to bring us to the end of the scenario too, because I think we've just about gotten. And then we have to do the ceremonial. Pause.
Goblin.
Look, he ran right into our old one.
Yeah,
Nice. All right,
one of
now
the
we have to go
sonoblues.
find him now. Blue Bastard. We went Argonaut is who we need here. Up there he is. He's up to number 3 today. He's having a great week.
Yeah.
Or does he even have torpedoes left?
That's
No.
F-35.
That was my F-35. Wrong Argonaut. Yeah, by the way, if you have it auto-named, there's the correct Argonaut. He looks like he's got nothing for fuel left, though. We're going to try. We're going to try. All right, you're going
It
to keep
almost
an eye.
reminds me of a scenario in a book, like where the ship is calling the helicopter, "We need you to prosecute this contact."
I'm out of gas, Chief.
Yeah, exactly. He's running out of gas. It heightens that personal drama. Oop, we've got some SAM firing off. Probably one of those patrols that got
The
too close.
F-14s. We got a little too close. Earlier, one thing we didn't show in video is we did set the engagement range of basically all the SAMs on the ship to inside of the Strait of Hormuz, just to kind of be fair. Otherwise, it would be taking shots all the way into the middle of Iran. And I'm sure, again, we're going to have to explain this to the international community when it's over anyway. So we might as well be somewhat in the right here.
Yeah.
He is very interested in whoever this guy is. All right, let's bring him to a hover. Again, danger, danger, danger. Be very careful of, let's go, tunnel vision.
He might be going RTB bingo, but
Come on, come on, come on, come on. Just got to get close enough. Let's activate
he's got
dipping
2
sonar.
minutes 30 seconds of fuel left.
Come on, come on, come on. Not going to happen, is it? He's deploying his sonar. Got it. Look at this.
1 minute left of fuel. 2 minutes left of fuel.
This is his what, third today? He's had a
You know what's
really
actually
good.
interesting? I had my eyes on the fuel remaining list, and it went from 1 minute 30 seconds to 2 minutes after you dropped that torpedo because of the less mass on the helicopter.
That's awesome. You could tell that, like, the weapons officer on board there is sitting there going, "I think we could do it if we drop the torpedo in the next 3 minutes." Like, I'm sure that's I'm sending him home because
Yeah.
he's had way too much success today. You can't push a good thing. All right, as
Usually
soon as my
anti-submarine helicopters don't become ace in a day.
submarine ace. Now the worst part though is I don't think Iran really has that many submarines. So if we're
Oh,
on number 3 at this point, that's pretty rough. That's pretty
yeah.
rough. Oh, did you? Oh
I noticed
no,
an explosion.
we just
I'm
lost
seeing
something to a mine.
mines.
That was one of our helicopters.
Oh,
No,
did it?
that was our
No,
Tycho.
Tycho got hit by a mine. Tiny
No.
little mine, but check the damage. I'm seeing a tiny amount of systems damage.
Let's check it out. He lost one of his VLSs, which is okay.
One of
It's
the
empty
VLS is
anyway.
damaged.
He lost Tomahawk data link. He's not flooding. Wow. Oh man. I think
Okay,
you
I
were
think
absolutely correct though. Instead of going through as a formation, we should have split in and gone into basically single line, just like you said.
yeah. I think
Completely
we need
agree.
to
But
start slowing down just because we might hit other mines. There's another mine really
yep, I
close
see
to the
right on the
Tycho.
left.
We might
Wow.
need to have them creep, have the warships creep, and this is
This is an
we might need to
emergency.
break the formation just to be able to manually tell where everyone needs to go.
Exactly.
But yeah, the warships need to start creeping so they can use their sonars to start detecting mines.
Absolutely. Good advice.
Wow.
That was incredible. So we actually did it right. So
Yeah.
they were laying mines.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, it's probably about a good time to kind of think about wrapping our scenario up here.
Yeah.
Again, I think this has been pretty successful. Again, we
Yeah.
definitely should have gone as a straight line. I absolutely love working with you. It was kind of neat to hear your commentary, how it's like some things they do a little differently, some things you do a little well. Great demonstration of command for any of those who are interested in purchasing this game. Again, they do a really, really good job of everything you just basically saw. Now, one thing I always like to check at the end, I'm going to pause real quick, is I always like to hit God mode real quick to see what we missed, so to speak. And it looks like
Mhm.
we missed one sub, and that was the Kilo. Look at how many mines we missed.
Oh wow. If we
Oh,
went through
damn.
that
Some of
friggin'
these weren't even
minefield.
active yet either.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Wow.
not.
We
Look at how
could.
many they got off in 2 hours. That's incredible. So,
Yeah.
this was a lucky day. And
Yeah.
we also get to take a look real quickly over here. Looks like one of the SSM batteries. This is the one that was shooting at us earlier. And for whatever
Yep.
reason, these surface assets decided to go to the beach. I guess they were just
Yeah.
tired. Long day, long day.
Long day.
And
Maybe take a look at the butcher's bill, the expenditures.
oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. You want to see some angry thing? Oh, actually, you know, we're forgetting something though. We're forgetting something. I'm gonna go ahead and change my doctrine real fast as we're looking at that. Go to map settings, doctrine, and this would not be a video with Baloogan if we didn't change that. And I'm gonna go ahead and make it engage any context. So you're probably he's giggling because he knows what I'm doing. But surprise, nuclear Armageddon launched.
Yep.
It wouldn't be this kind of video if it weren't
Well,
that ending.
Tycho did take a mine, so that means
Well,
total war, I think.
look at this, and then everybody shoots their tomahawks too.
Yep.
All right, let's look at the butcher's bill. I've never heard it called that before, but let's see how we did here. I'm not sure what a 942 is. I think that's one of their subs. They
I
went through
guess,
12
yeah.
of those. Really, only 12? I thought we saw so many more. Oh, these are losses. Never mind. They lost a couple Tomcats, a Phantom. They lost a couple Patrol.
Oh,
They
we
lost
must
a
have
couple.
blown him up in the truck or something like that.
Did you just see that weird donut that missile just did? Anyway, let's see here. Expenditures. Okay, I was right. Look at how many. Wow, look at how many mines they dropped. It's a tanker war all over again.
125. Yeah.
Wow, that is a lot. And obviously, yeah, pretty much everything they could shoot at us, they tried to shoot at us. But the Tycho did a dynamite job.
No
We had no
losses for
losses.
NATO,
We have to
except for that
explain.
Tycho. Except
Yeah,
for that
well,
Tycho.
it's the paint job that got hit. I think what happened is the mine exploded and some debris flew up on the deck and hit the VLS. Because that's the
Yeah,
only physical way I can think that worked.
often what might happen is like a mine doesn't touch the hull, it explodes nearby, and the VLS is like a whole bunch of really fancy pieces of electronics and equipment in close proximity. A shockwave could conceivably damage VLS.
Definitely, because I remember when they would do basically depth charge testing against ships. Everybody's seen that video where it's just like wha-bam, and the ship folds in half for a second, and they have like the interior view, and you can see all the stuff dropping off the corners and everything.
Yep.
And it's a whole mess. And unfortunately, we're going to cause some collateral damage.
A little
So
bit.
I'm going to keep looking through this as the collateral damage is on the way. And just taking a quick look, we went through a few AMRAAMs. I don't really think we had a lot of success with these
No,
because
not
I think
really.
they're just too long of a shot. They're too long
Yeah.
range for their own good. The paveways were dynamite against those ships. If they were
Hmm.
JDAMs, we'd be useless. Apparently, we launched an awful lot of Minuteman. I wonder what's up with that. Oh, let's find out. Fun fact, by the way, for those of you who have TAC view, one of the most fun things to do with it, of course, yeah, OBS is going to yell at me because I'm about to get really mean with it. If you watch in TAC view, the missiles that travel actually travel the correct altitude. So if you have something that you launch from there, it'll actually go all the way into space and then arc back down before finishing the deed. Um, yeah, I think Esfahan is no longer good property. Oh man.
Those
Uh,
electric bolt icons indicate the EMP damage, which
yes.
can disable sensors. And it looks like they're all just piling into that one base.
So not quite a true Baloogan ending, but it was in spirit.
Well, there's now a new Baloogan place in Iran, I guess.
I guess. It would turn it because it's all desert to be glass too, which is awful if you think about it. All right,
Yeah.
let's see what else we wasted. We went through about $56 million worth of tomahawks, a couple
Mhm.
torpedoes. Man, those torpedoes work well. That was awesome.
Yeah.
A couple harpoons, a pretty good amount. Oh, look at this. 51 ESSMs. They're basically fancy sparrows off the VLS from the Tycho.
Yeah.
All right, that was great. And again, I want to thank my special guest today, Baloogan, because it's amazing to be able to work with the guy who got me into command to begin with. I know I've said things like that, and now you can't confuse me. He is really a different person. Because I know I get that in comments from time to time. And it's like, any last comments?
I love all the videos that you've been making for Command. Like you're tackling some really hard concepts like WRA in your most recent video. Please, anyone listening, check out Phil's other videos, and everyone have a great day.
Yeah, all right. Thank you for watching as always. If you have any questions or comments, throw it in the thing. Hopefully, we could do something like this again with map editing, unless there's something else you'd like us both to try to tackle. Enjoy.